Namo Buddhaya. Namo Ratanataya. Welcome back, everybody, to our afternoon Kathina program continuation. So we've all had a wonderful lunch time here, and the sewing has begun and is ongoing. And while that goes on, we're going to be here together, sending our blessings to the sewers. Anyone who wants to participate is welcome to step out and put a few stitches in the robe while it's ongoing. So there's that joyful activity. And then here together, we'll have a little time together as community. So welcome back. For anyone who arrived late, I am Bhikkhuni Kachayana. And let's see, I want to recognize that we have a few bhikkhunis who are not here with us at this moment due to illness. That would be Ayatthaloka, who is at our forest hermitage, Aranya Bodhi, with Venerable Tavira. They're both recovering from a cold, and so we send them our blessings and well wishes, and we know that they're sending their blessings for this Kathina day also. And also Ayasopana has been ill. She is here on the property today. She has received the Kathina cloth and has overseen, well, from a distance, she has overseen the preparation of the robes. And we will see her again later this afternoon, but also sending our blessings to her for all of these auspicious, meritorious activities and knowing that she's blessing them too. And the other couple bhikkhunis who were here earlier are now working on the sewing. So we'll hear from them a little bit later. I'm happy to have with me Venerable Dhammawada as my bhikkhuni companion here during this time. Also, once again, congratulations to Susie. Well done with the robe offering this morning. And we look forward to being together for the completion later this afternoon. And now in the spirit of Kathina, being a time of community, a time of sort of generosity to celebrate this connection between the monastic community and the lay community, I'm going to invite up the president of the Dhammadharini Support Foundation Board of Directors, Supatra Chowchevech, who has this year taken over this role, which was previously Susie's role. So Susie, as our recently retired Board of Directors president, we appreciate her many years of service, and this today is a way of sort of celebrating all those many years with her, and also appreciating Supatra stepping up this year. And I'm going to hand over the mic to her to say a few words about Dhammadharini's Foundation and how things are going here. So hand this over to Shari. Sorry, Supatra. Shari a little later, in a few minutes.
Stand here. Sure, I don't want to exclude this. So, Sawadika, hello, everybody. My name is Supatra. I am, like Ayakachayana has said, I just took the position of the president of the Dhammadharini Support Foundation this year. First of all, I want to say that it is so heartfelt to see so many people here today. This is a place where it's like our spiritual home. And before I go any further, I just want to introduce you to our board a little bit. We run the business of our monastery here, and we have two sites right here, and the one in the forest is called Aranya Bodhi, which a very generous lay has given to us. And with that, we need people to run it. And I just want to acknowledge, first of all, we have two previous presidents before me here, and that is Susie Sisakun, could you please stand up a little bit so that Susie, and she's also the sponsor for the Kathina this year. Yes, we set up everything that you see except the tent, that's always by the monastics and the flags. And then previous to her is Shari Gent. Could you please stand up a little bit? So those of you who doesn't know her, that's previous to Susie. Each of them served for as long as 10 years. Yes. And that is, so like contributing to the ongoing business of our monastery and help to do a lot of things that the monastic wouldn't be able to take care of all of them by himself in running an organization. Also, I want to also acknowledge all the other people that has been helping in the committees, because we have the board, which is just bodies and make decisions and listen to reports and make decisions. But then there are people that are really working. So everybody who either is currently in the committee or in the past have been in the committee, could you please stand up a little bit so we all know who you are? Okay, that's Jean Rivers here, now local financial stewardess who takes care of all the financial nitty-gritty of the monastery. There's more. I know there's more. Nuchada, she is in charge of the media and soon to be fundraising. Anybody else who in the past? Ananya, please, Ananya. You, previous director of facilities. And somebody's hiding in the back here. He is in the board, not in the community. Please, Bob Fax. Yes, this is the organization development director of the current board. Anybody else that has been doing, Yeah, Glenn. What happened to Glenn? He disappeared. He's very shy. So there he is. He's the secretary of current board. And how about landscape committee? Landscape committee? Landscape committee? Okay, so some people do a lot of contribution, but they don't want to acknowledge the credit. This is not really, besides giving the credits where it belongs, it's also want you to see faces, really see, hey, a lot of people are here that you just ate lunch with or talked to. They're here actually helping on a day-to-day basis or week-to-week basis to run this part and that part of the monastery. So before I hand this over, I just want to tell you that to run organization, even if it's small, like what we have here, I've learned that it's still a lot of work, So when we have 2 sites, right, to take care of, so we always needs more help, wants more help, can be big help, like you can join the board, or it can be small help. If you know how to do websites, move things around in the websites, Facebook, what else? Twitter, whatever. If you don't know how to do that, you play with it all the time. Volunteer. We have a tab on the front page of the website. It's called volunteer. Go in there, read it. I can do that. Put your name in there, contact us. And we won't inundate you, don't worry. But I will give you whatever you have time to do, right? Or if you love to throw parties, please do volunteer. I need someone who can help throw fundraising events. For example, I don't like to throw a party. I can't do it. Someone else loves it, right? Please do. We also need many other helpful, like if you're good at, you're handyman, you like to put woods together or fix plumbing or something, we need that, right? There's a lot of things that we can do by ourselves without hiring people to maintain things. But we have a director of facilities, but he can't do all of that by himself. He also have to oversee the budget and all that. So there's many kind of work. We need someone who can pick up the phone and talk to the our insurance agent a couple times a year to make sure everything's running okay and how much did they raise on us, that sort of thing. So please do give whatever you can. Doesn't have to be money, right? This labor and smarts and your ability is so helpful. So with that being said, I would like to hand the microphone to our previous presidents, Shari Jen, and she wanted to talk to you about other ways of contributing, help our organizations and the monastery.
Okay. So first of all, Anumodana to all of you who are here today. And it's so wonderful to see that you've all stayed after the meal and didn't just eat and run. It's been so delightful to see people that I haven't seen for a long time come back for this wonderful celebration at the end of the Vassa. And I also want to thank all of you who have contributed both your talents and your time and financially during the past year. And I want to point out that we have made some major progress in the last year. But we have primarily been moving towards larger projects. And so in the process of like the mortgage and buildings, et cetera, we've kind of forgotten a few smaller projects that might be supporting the health and safety of our bhikkhunis. So some of those projects only run about $2,000 to $3,000 a piece. So we're kind of making an appeal this year for people to donate to miscellaneous maintenance projects, or just in general to Dhammadharini, to the general fund. Some of the projects that we're really hope to accomplish this year include finishing the fire break, which is necessary for the fire department to come rescue us at Aranya Bodhi Hermitage if we actually have a fire, which might happen, right? So we are about a third of the way done with, or 2/3 of the way done with the fire break. We have about a mile left, and I don't know if you're like me. I'm asking, what is a fire break? Like, what does that mean? That means I have to cut down about a mile of brush and trees along the road so that the fire trucks, et cetera, can get into the monastery. So that's a big health and safety issue. Second of all, we want to build some more moldering privies or latrines a little bit closer to the kutis so that if the hygiene can improve for those bhikkhunis who are living at the monastery. And finally, we need some rain protection for some of the kutis. So these are just some of the small miscellaneous projects that might only cost a couple $1,000s, but we would really like to focus on this coming year rather than a huge big project. So if you'd like to donate today, there's a donation box at the table by the flowers. Otherwise, you're welcome to donate online. That's available as well. And once again, I just want to thank all of you for your time and attention and your generosity. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Shari. Thank you, Subhadra. Hey. Oh. All right. Thank you very much. Yes. Let me tell you a little bit about the plan for the rest of today. First, I want to ask, is Levon here? There you are. Okay, wonderful. I have a job for you later. I'm glad to see you here. Welcome. Okay, well, maybe we'll find a moment to check in about that in a little bit. So our we have a little time while the sewing is ongoing to have some going to well, just our plan for the afternoon for our Dhamma program. We're going to talk a little bit about the fact that this is Dhammadharini's 20th Vassa has just been completed. So that's a significant milestone. I'm going to introduce this calendar. You may have seen an example on the wall over there. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the special Bhikkhuni Sangha lunar calendar commemorative dates. And then we're going to have some Dhamma talks from our Bhikkhuni Sangha here, just little short ones from each of us. After that, we hope the robe may be complete. We'll see. We'll need to get some updates along the way about how that's going. When the robe is complete, then we'll need our Bhikkhuni Kathina recipient to come and spread the Kathina. There will be some rejoicing about that. There will be a chance for, well, anyone who missed the morning Sangha Dana, if anyone has something they'd like to offer, there will be another opportunity for people to come bring Sangha Dana. And there will be a very large item of Sangha Dana to offer and bless, which is that truck that you see sitting behind in the yard. This has been newly offered, and we're going to tell you more about how that came to be and all the people involved. And we're going to really celebrate this because it's a big thing and it's a big help to us. And we're delighted that we're able to bless it and inaugurate it here with you this afternoon. And so then there'll be closing blessings and there will be a commemorative photo. Please don't escape before the commemorative photo. So the first thing I want to do this afternoon, is, again, we're celebrating the completion of the 20th Vassa of Dhammadharini since its founding. It was founded in August of 2005. At the time, they started with the second Vassa. The monastics have a choice of taking first Vassa starting usually in July or second Vassa starting in August. So in 2005, Dhammadharini was founded at the beginning of the second Vassa. And so this year in 2024, they have completed the 20th Vassa. It's not quite 20 years yet on the solar calendar, so we're going to have a bigger anniversary celebration next August when it's been 20 full years. But it's, monastic time we usually count in Vassas, so 20 Vassas is a long time, and we want to celebrate that. And so I have a Kathina message from Ayatotthaloka on the occasion of completing this 20th Vassa, her reflections, because of course she was. Oh, I see. Okay. I hear that there's more content coming. So should I have several pages here already. Shall I start? Okay, this is coming in live. I have half of the message here. So I'll start this message and hopefully the other half will arise before I finish. And much appreciation to Jayanya for facilitating us having this auspicious Kathina message from Ayatotthaloka. So I'm going to read out her words for us. She's writing right now from Aranya Bodhi Hermitage. I think she's also with us online watching the live stream and sending her well wishes. So I'll read her words. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Warm greetings, dear Venerable International Bhikkhuni Sangha, dear cherished long-time and new Dhamma friends, dear supporters and benefactors of our Dhammadharini Bhikkhuni Sangha. First, I would like to express my hearty and heartfelt anumodana. It is nothing short of a kind of miracle that we are gathered to be celebrating this International Bhikkhuni Sangha Kathina, having just completed Dhammadharini's 20th Vassa. Shortly after my entering into monastic life, nearly 37 years ago, I was greatly inspired and encouraged to hear of the one German-American Bhikkhuni teacher who I knew to exist at that time, our late Venerable Ayya Khema. Traveling to India with visions of the ancient greats of the Bhikkhu Bhikkhuni Sangha in my mind's eye, and echoing in the voice of my heart from reading Pali Text Society books, I was bereft to find not a single Buddhist bhikkhuni, even while there were communities of orange-robed women renunciates of other Indian spiritual traditions. But there were powerful rumors of some, from the recent First Sakyadhita International Buddhist Women's Teachers Conference in Bodh Gaya, the site of the Buddha's awakening. And among the leaders of the Bhikkhu Sangha in India, there was a powerfully inspiring and truly courageous Renaissance movement afoot. As you see, the Bhikkhu Sangha had also been almost entirely eradicated in its home country and was just beginning a tentative comeback with international collaboration and support. It was in this spirit of international collaboration and support, with the call to reconnect with the ancient Bhikkhuni Sanghas and bring them back to their homelands in South Asia, that I set out on a quest to find them. And I did, and made the determination not only to ordain with them, but to learn from the ground up, take not only the ordination, but the training. Fast forwarding 10 years, and a day I never thought would be possible came to be, nearly 27 years ago, just after Ayakema's death. The possibility to receive the Bhikkhuni higher ordination via the Pali text tradition from the Theravada Bhikkhu Sangha of Sri Lanka and Thailand, after 5 years of traditional training and preparation with the ancient Bhikkhuni lineages. But the training had just begun. It was not until 7 years later, after my Bhikkhuni ordination, much of that time focused on my own Sangha training, Dhamma and Vinaya study, and meditation training, when while on a return visit to my home country of the United States, here in the San Francisco Bay, the calls began to come with increasing urgency from all directions, from my senior Theravada Bhikkhu Sangha teachers and leaders, and from my local Dhamma friends and local fellow women retreatants, to found a vihara for Theravada Bhikkhunis. Dhammadharini was born, the first dedicated place for Bhikkhunis in the Western United States. We entered second Vassa, meaning the second of 2 annual Vassa entry dates, at a newly rented vihara on a short-term lease at the south end of the Niles Historic District in Fremont. It was risky. We began with only 20 founding supporters, noting several of them are here today with us, so appreciation with those who have been here from the beginning. 20 founding supporters, with only the first and last month's rent donated for our Vassa. At that time, the local Theravada Buddhist culture was of supporting the Bhikkhu Sangha, but not much, if at all, supporting Theravada nuns, except when tagged onto by the Bhikkhu Sangha. It was 2005. This was new for people. Aya Suchinta, now Mahateri from Germany, came to join me. And women aspirants quickly began to come visit our tiny little vihara by the train tracks. Every day we went out for Pindapata in Old Town Niles, not just ceremoniously, but really for our food. Slowly, word spread, and more people began to offer support day by day. I want to deeply, deeply appreciate all our early supporters, together with those 20 and slowly increasing numbers of supportive friends, and the founding president and founding board members of the new Dhammadharini Support Foundation, the first nonprofit church in the United States specifically for stewarding the presence and teaching in residence of bhikkhunis, and for supporting those who aspired to train and ordain in this way. I would like to thank all those who contributed during that first Vassa back in 2005. It was an enormous surprise when, in our first years, we counted how many monastic life aspirants contacted us, and even in the beginning, they equaled between 50 and 100 per year. Wow! But what we had to offer them at that time was very little. A tiny half of a rented duplex next to a diesel train junction with only 2 little bedrooms, leaving aside the master bedroom as our meditation hall. The first Vassa, I slept in the meditation hall closet. At the end of Vassa, several Buddhist friends cried when they had the opportunity, for the first time in their lives, to offer the saffron patchwork robes that they could walk into a temple and offer any day to the male monks, for the first time in their lives, directly with their own hands, to a bhikkhuni. that December, we took off with our little bonsai Bodhi tree, which, by the way, is just over there around the corner. It's still with us. With our little bonsai Bodhi tree and a framed painting of Sanghamita Terry, traveling to Buddhist groups all around the Bay Area to introduce them to our ancient Bhikkhunis heritage. Many of them had never even heard of Bhikkhunis before, nor seen such an image. They didn't know an ancient great Bhikkhuni Arhat Terry like Sanghamita had traveled from India to Sri Lanka and ordained many women there, who also became Arhats in a more than 1,000-year-long great lineage. All that was shrouded in darkness. At that time, such images were rare, such stories were rare, not like these days where you can find so many of them. And where now, today, printed copies of a Bhikkhuni Sangha calendar collecting such dates is being offered for the very first time here, 20 years later. So I have some of these calendars here with the blessing string around them. There's also some in the corner for anyone who needs to leave early. We'll be talking about the calendars a little bit more later. 20 years later, what we have to offer has grown enormously. In Dhammadharini's fifth Vassa, we offered and supported the first Bhikkhuni Sanghika Vassa, meaning having a full Sangha of Bhikkhunis gathered for the Vassa in North America. That same year, during the 2010 Vassa, Dhammadharini offered the first all-Theravada Pali text canon-based dual Bhikkhuni ordination. 10 years later, this Vassa, Dhammadharini had 2 Bhikkhuni Terries at 2 locations teaching Dhamma and teaching Bhikkhuni Vinaya to 5 new Bhikkhunis in residence at our Dhammadharini Monastery here in the San Francisco North Bay and at our Aranya Bodhi Forest Hermitage on the Sonoma coast. Although there are now many small Bhikkhuni places scattered around North America, here at Dhammadharini was the only place in the contiguous United States with a Bhikkhuni Sangha in residence. This is noteworthy. We have had our share of challenges, and we still do. And I would like to celebrate our unprecedented perseverance through these challenges, here as we strive to put down the roots of Bhikkhuni Sangha, here in my own home soil, my own home country of the United States, and in the context of the International Bhikkhuni Sangha. Okay. So, I am deeply proud and humbled with much mudita in 2021 to have been able to support here in California the coming into being of the German Bhikkhuni Sangha and of the UK Bhikkhuni Sangha. And in 2023, to host the newly reconstituted International Cambodian Bhikkhuni Sangha, consisted of Khmer American, Khmer Canadian, and Khmer German Bhikkhunis. Our Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammanusari, sitting among our Bhikkhuni Sangha here today, was and is one of them. So she's actually not sitting here, she's over there sewing, but she will be sitting here in a little bit, and we're delighted to have her with us this Vassa. And this year, in 2024, even as my health has failed, I have such enormous mudita to see the first Indian Bhikkhunis come out to teach and to study in North America. Venerable Ayya Shakya Dhammadina teaching widely in Canada, and Venerable Bhikkhuni Vandana studying Bhikkhuni Vinaya here with us at Aranya Bodhi. She is also sewing at the moment, but we'll see her also a little later. To me, this is coming back full circle again, to be able to support the restitution of the ancient great Bhikkhuni Sangha in its homeland. More, okay. I want to deeply appreciate my Dhammadharini co-teacher, our Vice Abbess Ayasopana Terry, this year's recipient of the Bhikkhuni Sangha's gift of the Kathina Robe. Not only did she build the Sangha Hall Kuchi, from which I am typing and sending this message right now on our Kathina Day, together with all the kutis here in our forest, all the kutis here in our forest hermitage, and our as COVID safe as possible Dhammadharini Monastery Garden Sala Pavilion in which this message is being voiced. She has faithfully offered the vast majority of our Dhammadharini public Dhamma teaching since emerging from her long retreat 2 years ago. Rejoice in all the great goodness and blessing that have come from this. And from all those who have aspired, all those who have supported, all those who have gathered from near and far, Every object my eyes fall on, from this keyboard to the windows to the flask of tea, all are the faithful gifts of someone, often someone I know personally. So many good hearts, so much kindness and generosity. Such I wish that with all these blessings we may grow in right effort. For where there's consistent right effort, with right mindfulness and right view, the Dhamma wheel turns. I wish that we see the fruition of our intentions for our from aspiration to cremation initiative, that our bhikkhunis may be able to be born in the Dhamma and enter parinibbana in the Dhamma here. I wish that with the re-arising and revival of the higher ordination as bhikkhunis, that we see likewise the re-arising and revival of the higher attainments as bhikkhunis, from stream entry through to arahanta, to the reappearance of bhikkhuni arahant teris in our world. Now this would be a great offering. And why not? In the Theravada traditions, many believe they have seen arahant bhikkhus in the 20th and 21st century. Let us work to support this for bhikkhunis. Then truly the fourfold Sangha will come to exist again. May we all do whatever we can to support the arising of this incomparable merit in this world. Through our very grounded right effort, right mindfulness, right view, through doing our own path work, and through supporting one another and the Sangha, the noble Sangha, to do this as best we can, with all of our mindfulness and strength. Sadhu, 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 anumodama. Many blessings to Susie Clicks and her family on this Kathina Civara Dana offering day. Many blessings to all our Dhammadharini Support Foundation and all our supporters. Many blessings to all our bhikkhunis and to all who aspire. May we grow in this noble path of practice for the right ending of all suffering. Respectfully offered by Bhikkhuni Tataloka Mahateri, Dhammadharini International Bhikkhuni Sangha, Kathina Day. So, sadhu, 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 anumodama. So, very much appreciating those words from Ayatollah from the forest, coming in live. And yes, also rejoicing in those who are here who were part of those 20 founders. I want to recognize, let's see, I think Shari, Vimuti, who else is here still? Anybody? Anyway, appreciating those 20 and everyone who's joined in since then. It's an enormous effort for all of this and all of us coming together to bring a day like this into being. It's an amazing thing. So, let's see. We mentioned the Bhikkhuni Sangha calendar. I'm just going to give a brief demonstration and explanation of this calendar. And we have some here that are going to be powered up with blessings and can be handed out later. We also have some over in the corner for anybody who needs to depart early. You are welcome to take one before you go. We also have these nifty triangular boxes if you want to protect it from harm. Give me a second, I'll pull one of these out. So this calendar is the work, thank you, largely of Venerable Tavira Bhikkhuni, who is also at the Aranya Bodhi Forest Hermitage today. She worked on this for much of last year's winter retreat. The inspiration was, there are these dates, lunar calendar dates that we remember related to the events of the life of the Buddha and the great Bhikkhu Arahants. And there are dates recorded related to the great Bhikkhuni Arahants as well in the ancient texts. And these dates are often less well known. They're there. There are traditions related to them. Nothing of this is made up. These have been passed down and remembered, but not remembered quite as well and as widely as some of the other dates for the bhikkhus. So the idea is that we know about these dates and have a beautiful reminder of them that you can put on your wall. So we have printed out a number of these calendars. They will be available for anyone who wishes to take one home. This is a Dhammadana gift to you. We hope it can spread more widely also, but you get the sort of first, that it's our Kathina gift back to all of you today. First printing. Oh, yes, and the artwork is, a lot of this is hand drawn by Venerable Tavira and then assembled digitally. And so I won't go through all the details here. Be happy to look over this with a few of you later. But the principal dates here, we're remembering especially the September full moon each year is, we call it International Bhikkhuni Day, but it is the founding anniversary of the Bhikkhuni Sangha and the founding, therefore, Sangha. So we celebrate that each year. This is the day on which Mahapajapati Gautami Teri requested and received the Bhikkhuni ordination from the Buddha, becoming the founder of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, along with 500 women who had walked with her many miles to request this. Another principal date we would like more people to know about is Sanghamita Day, December 14th to 15th this year, the December full moon. This commemorates the date on which Arahant Bhikkhuni Teri, Sanghamita, traveled from India to Sri Lanka she brought the Bodhi tree with her, and she brought the Bhikkhuni Sangha with her, and she established the Bhikkhuni Sangha in Sri Lanka. So she's remembered fondly in Sri Lanka, but a great leader, great inspiring Bhikkhuni of history. And so we remember her special dates as well. And then February, let's see, this is actually the February half moon. Mahapajapati Gautami and Bhikkhuni founders Parinibbana Day. So Mahapajapati Gautami Teri again was the founder of the Bhikkhuni Sangha. She was an Arahant Bhikkhuni, and there's the great story of her final passing away with many powerful miracles. And so we celebrate that date as well, along with others, but these are sort of the principal big three on the calendar here, just to give you an example. And so you can take a look at the calendar in a little more detail yourselves and take one home if you like to. I'm going to fold this back up. Okay. And then next up, we have some Dhamma talks. And I think maybe even a little time for some Dhamma discussion. I think it might be good to hear some voices other than my voice. So, Venerable Dhammawara. Okay, I'll take that. Would you be willing to share with us any Dhamma from this past Vassa? Something you've learned. We had the Dhamma theme of practicing for peace in a world on fire. And also we had our Bhikkhuni Vinaya studies at the Hermitage. And we had our own personal practice, our own personal growth and development in all circumstances. So I would invite you, Venerable, would you be happy to share with us about some Dhamma this rasa?
Practice peace. I was reflecting a lot this past week, practicing for peace in a world on fire. I was at the Hermitage, but Venerable Kathina had spent the week here. And during that week, it was one of those weeks where the water heater stopped working, the generator was acting up, there was no water in the water tanks, we ran out of propane, we ran out of diesel, water heater, there was no heat in the yurt. People, well, yes, we were all sick as well.
we were delivering mails to two Bhikkhunis in two different directions, so filling up the water tank was not on the radar at all. Did I alert you to anything else? I know, but I forget. But it was during all of these little episodes of fire, if you will, that you want to say, "Oh no, not this! I can't, not this!" I'm trying to look for a black O-ring that had fallen under the trailer for the kitchen water filter. But my eyes are not very good, so I really can't see that. Even with a flashlight in broad daylight, it's just hard. So you're kind of crawling under, looking in the brambles and bushes for this black O-ring. So you can get maybe there's some water trickles coming out. So we find that a little bit. But as I was going through my day with all of these things and even preparing a meal, but finding out that the meal that was prepared was not the most helpful meal at that time, conditions of bodies changing and needing different things, my own body needing different things. Sometimes it was just 10 minutes of silence, just 10 minutes, those little parts and pieces during the day. But the problem being that the China not being there, I had the radios and other people had the radios, and my 10 minutes didn't always coincide with what their 10 minutes. So whenever I wanted a moment of peace, sometimes more often than not, that peace was not there. So going through these days like this and being tired and myself being sick, reflecting on the practicing for peace in a world of fire and looking and thinking about what was on fire. Was the water generator on fire? The water? Well, the water heater and the little bit, yes, the generator, yes. Were all these things on fire? Or was it my wanting all these things to be different? I want all these things to work. I didn't realize I had so many wants and cravings until I went to the Hermitage. I want you to work well. I want my jars and caps to match up so I have the right jars for the right ingredients. I want all the things I need in the refrigerator. I want. The Buddha did talk a lot about craving and face to face with all my cravings there. But I realized that most of those times when I stopped, remembered to remember that I had a choice. I could let go and just be with the things as they are. I could hold on and tightly and want to control and control and control. And I just couldn't. I was being sick. So it was a good practice. It was a good title for me to reflect on, that I didn't need to control, that there is peace, but the peace isn't out there. The peace is in actually the letting go of the control, looking for the peace, looking for things to be exactly. Even the mic working sometimes is right. But space is where peace is. It's not something someone else gives to you. It's something you remember to look for, or you remember. And it was just, it's slowing down and remembering that I have a choice, some peace and some clarity. And it's also realizing that the world isn't always on fire, that there are days like this that nourish us. It's remembrance of days and the support and the love and the care that make having those moments, they soften them, because then we reflect, well, yes, the water generator may not be working, but we have one. People cared enough about us to supply us with all of the basic necessities that we need. And that gives me a lot of joy. Even sweeping the sidewalks this morning, reflecting on how when I first came here, that was jobs here. Well, she wasn't in Venerable China at the time. She was in white and even before white. But at 6 morning, we had a work. And one of my jobs was always to sweep around the building, even though it was dark out or cold out and I couldn't see. And even though I had to use a flashlight and I didn't, and I grumbled and I grumbled. But then after a while, you start looking around and, oh, these are houses. Someone actually paid a lot of money for this. Someone actually supporting this. And then it made sweeping around the building a joyful activity, part of this group of people that cared enough to bring this thing into fruition. And that made all the difference for me, was reflecting on all of your kindness and all of your care. And that really is a great support for me. So that's how I practice in the world of fire, reflecting on all of your care and kindness.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Venerable, do you have a report on the robe?
Hi. Yes, we start to make a little bit. It's coming. Neither the needle is broken. We try to find the right needle, but it seemed to be long. So we dig around and find a little bunch of the needle. It's suitable, fine. So Kundu, is it Kundu? Kuno, yes, Kuno tried to working, and another few lady tried to working too. Sati.
Hey, thank you for the report. So hopefully it'll be coming along. And Venerable, would you be happy to share a little Dhamma with us, some Dhamma from this past Vassa, whether it's practicing for peace in a world on fire or anything else that you learned and developed and appreciated about this Vassa? Thank you.
Yes, I would like to do this. So, first of all, I like to pay respect to the triple germ, Namo Buddhaya, and to Mahateri Ayatataluka is my preceptor, and with all the Upasika have support our Bhikkhuni Sangha. Without your support, I would not able to stand this strong here. And during my Vassa that I spent on the Aranya Bodhi, it's so wonderful. There's nothing wonderful as I can stay in the tent up high to the mountain, see the sky every day, and practice with the natural fresh air. Herb of the tree, there's the many kind of tree beside the red wood tree, which is, I don't know the name of the tree. So practice the wisdom piece that I'm working on for myself is I being kind, caring, patient, and be true to myself. I am really be true to myself because the patient that have when I see something or while you practice, you see something on fire, you cannot put any more fire. You must have to find a water. So to reach the water, don't be panics. Stay calm. Look and search for the water as much as you can carry to pour that water down. So I have heard a little bit on Venerable Dhammadharini has said that wake up in the night. Yes, it's kind of fun that get up from the mountain with the little light, with a little piece of wood, rock. I imagine myself like I in the Tibet practice cold and walk on the, imagine that ground to be as an ice at Tibet. And yes, I am very grateful to be with the Dhammadharini, with all the supporter, and especially that I have Ayata Taluka who have teaching me well for Vinaya. Without coming here, I only read the book, but I did not know the rule or exactly the meaning. When she teach, I really don't know where her energy very strong. So I count because of our practice Dhamma and with her practice, she teach us even we tired, but we still have strength to stand and listen to her to midnight. So this is a strong thing that I have give it to all of us. I might not remember everything yet, but everything is in my heart and in my note. So if somehow I have done something a little wrong, it reflects. We know something wrong because when you heard a lesson, you hear a lesson, and you when I practice and pay on that attention, it keep clear. It heavy like a rock that someone come to do it, it would not break until that, I don't know, a machine big one can break, but as a person, I keep it tight. But of course, because the Vinaya of us, it's a lot, and the detail of each of those have more and more. So we learn, and we still have a lot question to do, to ask. Because as we are Bhikkhuni, I think I can say to me, we are new. We are new because I used to be like a lay person and go out to a temple, especially that just to listen to Bhikkhu. But when I have a Pavatini, which is very close, it's easy. I can ask more questions. That's very important for us as a woman, and we can have the same as a teacher. So I think that's all I have to share. And by seeing everybody, I remember well that's how much time that I came. This is, I think, my third times that I come to Vassa. Yeah. So it's been grow for myself without I know the Dhammadharini or have support me. I am just like the kind of lotus that float but not push up from the water. It's just like ging there. The sun come, I rise, and then it's go down a little bit. But when I got the right teacher, I got the right practice, it like the lotus up from the water. And if someone want to pick, it's okay too, because it's beautiful. So thank you so much.
Sadhu, 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 anumodama. Okay. Okay, can you send Venerable Vandana to us to say a few words? And while we're waiting for Venerable Vandana, I don't know if anybody has any comment, any question, anything that they'd like to share. We could open it up a little bit here until Venerable Vandana comes. Anybody? A little bit of Dhamma discussion? Phone here at the end that I think you could use if you'd like to say a few words. No. No? Anybody? Okay. So here has been following the teachings, this Vassa, on practicing for peace in a world on fire. I think some of you have been regulars on the Zoom or on the Sunday and Tuesday programs. I know Nita and Saket have. I think Ananea, I think a few others here. Do any of you want to share something you've learned about practicing for peace in a world on fire? Ananea, yes, please. Would you like to come to the microphone there? Or no? Okay, let's see. Okay, that one, Ramona can give you this handheld one. And make Jean.
Yes. Okay. It's really, I mean, comes down to something very simple for me, and that is finding the peacefulness in your own heart, because you cannot extend it out to the world if you don't have a peaceful heart. So it's looking at, mindfulness practice, looking at what's arising, working with it so that what you send out is peaceful, as opposed to tainted with tinges of anger or demands or some greediness, whatever. But just really focusing on what's arising and looking at it and seeing it pass away, and then approaching other people and your life in general.
Sadhu, thank you for your sharing, Ananea. I see Venerable Vandana has arrived, so I will invite her to say a few words about practicing for peace in a world on fire, or about your Vassa experience. Welcome, Venerable. Take off your mask.
Namo Buddhaya. I don't know what to say. Yeah. So when we talk about peace and about the Vassa, so this one is my first Vassa with the Sangha. I never been with a Sangha before. I mean, I go to programs and like the program, but I never stay longer with the Sangha. So this is my first time experience staying with the Sangha. And this is like when you talk about peace. So it's not only about society or something. It's like, even if you're staying in family and you keep fighting, you will not have peace. So I think it's better to make peace in your family first than making peace in the world. So this is what I think. Like in the Sangha, if we don't have peace, I mean, if we don't have loving kindness within our Sangha, then we can't teach others how to have peace for ourselves and for others also. And I think we should have right speech and right view for that also, because sometimes we have situation, we see the situation like we don't like it, but there's something else about that situation that when we see it and we realize it, we understand this is not how it looks. So if you practice right speech, so it gives us some strength to see beyond what we are saying. And then other thing, like I said, right speech. So this is really important if you want to have peace, because our speech can destroy anything. It can destroy the world. So like Buddha said, you should understand when to say, what to say, how to say. So it's really important, because when we say something, even we are talking so important, like Dhamma, some people, like in Buddha's time also, when Buddha gives Dhamma, some people get enlightened, some get stream entry, and some get nothing. So it's like Buddha said, even if you give people something precious, you should know what is the right time for them to listen to that. Otherwise, that is precious, but that person doesn't know about it. So it's like when someone is hungry and you give the food, then that person will know the value of that food. But there's a person who's already eaten so much food and you give more food, even so much delicious food, but that person will not have value of that food because that person is already full and that person doesn't need the food anymore. So that's what Buddha said, have right view, right speech about it. And yeah, in the Sangha is also something like that. When someone is saying even with anger or with kindness, it doesn't matter. But if you have right view, like why that person is telling me, then you can understand it's just for our good. It's just to uh, preventing us to making mistake and just to guide us. So I think that's the beautiful thing of the Sangha. Like when we are learning, even if I'm learning and I don't know anything about it, and there's someone who knows about it, so I can ask them because they have more experience like that. So it's like Venerable Kachina is here, so I'm always asking questions to Hey Kachina. So because they're staying here and they're practicing more than me, I mean because they're staying in the Sangha, so definitely they have I mean, they really have so much patience more than me. I don't have that much patience, And yeah, the qualities I see in the Sangha, it's really beautiful. And it gives me encouragement that I can also do that. But it's just the thing, like until you see it in someone, you will not get the inspiration, that's like Buddha said, that's why Buddha said you should have Kalyana Mitta. It's like if you have right Kalyana Mitta, then definitely you will go further because that Kalyana Mitta gives you inspiration and guides you through every path that how to walk on it. And that's what I feel with the Sangha, especially through the Vassa, because we stay together and we observe each other, like how's our speech, how's our action, and then we try to teach each other. So it doesn't mean that if I don't like someone's speech, then I was like, oh, why are you doing that? I can't fight with that person, right? But I can tell, okay, you can make your speech correct with kindly because I have to stay with you. And I can't fight with you every day, in the families something happens like that. But uh we have different kind of speech and we use different kind of action, so it can affect people. So this is something like when we stay with Sangha, it's really really difficult. People say, oh, monastic life is so easy. Really, they say like you leave all the samsara, you don't have any responsibility, you don't have any burden. And it's like, no, this is not true. It's like in your family, at least you know people, right? You know who's your family. But in the Sangha, we don't know who's coming with us. And we don't know what kind of person that is. And then when we meet that person, we have to give the time to understand them and them to understand us. So this is something beautiful that shows that how you can have patience and you can create beautiful bond with the people that you never met before. And this is really difficult in people, I think. They get so angry when they don't like something in people and they say, oh, I don't like this person, I don't want to see this person. But things changes when you give time. It's like everything needs the time, and if you give proper time to it, everything comes out perfectly. It just your patience. But we don't have kanti, we don't have patience at all. And that's why we just born again and again, again and again, like, oh, I want to find out this, I want to find out that, I didn't done this. So we have like wish. We make so much wishes, and that wish makes us to come again and again, again and again this birth. So that's why Buddha said, like, be satisfied what you have. But I don't think we are satisfied. I was like, still, I'm saying I don't have that much patience, patience like Venerable Kanchana have. So I'm wishing that I should also have that patience. So if I'm wishing that, then it doesn't mean that if I say that I wish, then it comes true. It's that I know that what I'm lacking and what I have to practice more about. So yeah, this is something I just want to say, people. It's wherever you go, it's even in your family, your friend, wherever you go, just have patience. The quick reactions can destroy anything, everything. Even the strongest bond, it can break if you don't realize what you're saying, what you're doing. And yeah, if you have patience, then you can make impossible thing possible. But if you don't have patience, then you make possible things impossible. So yeah, I think patience is really important wherever you go in the life. That's all.
Okay, it sounds like there is a bit more work to do on the robe. Just gotten the status report. So, okay, well, we'll continue with our little marathon then. Appreciate everyone who's hanging out here. Okay, so I'll say a few words. We'll check in again on the robe. And I think Levon also might need to leave at some point. So maybe after this talk, we'll go ahead with the truck blessing. If that's if we're not ready with the robe yet, we'll go ahead with that part. So Namo Buddhaya. Yes, so my respects to my seniors here at Taloka and Ayasolpana, respects to the Buddha and the whole lineage down to now. And my appreciation to all of you gathered here today and everyone who's contributed to this day, this beautiful day together, and this whole Vassa. Yeah. So Ayasolpana was the one who chose the theme of practicing for peace in a world on fire. And yeah, it's a perennial theme, right? I think the world on fire part, a lot of people have a perception of that being particularly so at this time. That there are, many sorts of disruptions to our lives, to things that the way they were before, to things the way we wish they may be, in the political realm, in this, even the natural world, things changing. And so we can have this sense of the world on fire. And the other perennial is practicing for peace. In a way, this is really just the core of the Buddhist teaching. That's what it's all about, that it's for peace. It's for the peace of Nibbana, ultimately. There's this etang santang, etang panitang yadidang, sabba sankhara samato, sabbu pati patinisago, tanhakayo, virago nirodho nibbanang. This is peaceful. This is excellent. Namely, the stilling of all formations, the letting go of all acquisitions, the destruction of craving, dispassion, cessation, nibbana. This is peaceful. This is excellent. This is the goal of our path. It is what the Noble Eightfold Path leads to. And, the Buddha, I think, recognized this idea of world on fire. Even in his lifetime, there was political upheaval, especially near the time of his passing away. There was wars breaking out in the whole area where he had taught, and wandered throughout his teaching career. So these are not new phenomena, really. And we hear that the Buddha had the opportunity. The story goes that he could have chosen to be the wheel-turning monarch, the one who brought peace to the world in a worldly sense. That he had that capacity and that possibility and even that temptation from Mara, that he would become the great world leader who would bring peace to the lands in many directions. But he chose otherwise. He chose to be the leader of the spiritual tradition, the founder of this lineage that we're still following today to the best of our ability. Because he saw it underlying those worldly fires that were these fires of ultimately greed, hatred, delusion, that all of it grew out of that. And one of the famous first few sermons, the third sermon, the fire sermon, Buddha says, practitioners, the eye is on fire, sights are on fire, eye consciousness is on fire, feelings are on fire, whatever feelings arise from eye consciousness is on fire. I don't have it 100%, but you get the idea. Everything related to the eye and all of the feelings that come from sights, all of this is burning. Same for the ear, same for the nose, same for the tongue, same for the body, same for the mind, maybe even especially for the mind. It's burning. Any way we contact with the world, then there is this fire of greed that can come up, or this fire of hatred that can come up, or this fire of delusion in large ways, in small ways. Venerable Dhammawara was pointing out about, the greed that comes from, when it's cold, you want to be warm. And when there's, what else? You want there to be water. You want there to be light. You want there to be heat. You want there to be just sort of basic level of physical comfort. And we don't think of that as being, greed so much. Greed has this very strong connotation of like, a greedy person or bad person. And the Buddha does tell us we should follow the middle way, not seek out the situation where we don't have enough to eat or don't have enough heat or can't be living. But it's true, there is like just the physical pain of being cold. And there's also the whole fire that can come up in the mind, making a story about that, making resistance to that feeling, just a physical cold in the body. And so many things that can come from that, when we're physically uncomfortable, when we're sick, when we're hungry, when we're tired, we can get cranky. I know I do. I don't know if anybody else does, but I think so. I think I'm not the only one who gets cranky when I'm tired or cold or hungry. Yes. Just a moment. Okay. This is a note about our upcoming schedule. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, anyway, these fires on the most basic level of wishing to be physically well and safe and comfortable and have enough to eat. And when those are threatened in any way, then these bigger fires come up, these, interpersonal fires or political fires. They're coming from this sense of needing something we don't have. And it burns, it really burns. And it can lead to so much, to so many disputes, so many arguments, so much greater suffering on small levels, on large levels, on all levels. So how to get to the root of it, how to put out that fire so that, that little spark that everything comes from, how do you avoid making even that little spark to come to peace, to come to quiet, to put out that fire, to extinguish it, to go to Nibbana? Because if it's not there, then none of these other things can be there. None of the greed and hatred and delusion that is, overwhelming the world, it feels like sometimes. How can we put out that first little spark, even that first little one? So that's the practicing for peace, starting internally, starting with where we can most effectively work. We can help each other with the bigger fires. We can try to fight them back together. But the most effective is to really just start with not making any sparks, start with prevention, start with, coming to peace in ourselves so that nothing more can be ignited, nothing more can burn for us at least. And then that makes us a space of safety for everyone else, right? We think about the literal fires, it's fire season still in California. We're talking about the fire abatement work at Aranya Bodhi Hermitage, clearing out the underbrush so that the firefighters can come in along the roads. And when we do this work, when our neighbors do this work of that's meant for prevention, we feel so sort of happy and supported together, right? It's like it's this community thing that, when our neighbors are taking care of keeping down the fires, then we feel confident, we feel happy, we feel connected with our neighbors, we feel grateful. And I think likewise, when we doing this work, it's been a great way for our Hermitage community to connect with our larger, neighborhood, our larger community right around the Hermitage area, feeling like we're in this together in a way, because each of us is taking care individually of our space, but then that's a protection for everybody. It reduces the risk for everybody. And so we celebrate that and we feel closer and warmer towards each other because of that. And I think internally also, when I meet somebody who has done this kind of work deeply, who has realized something about peace internally, at least to my perception, that creates a space of safety for me as well. I can feel safe with this person. I can feel like, even if I put out sparks, it's not going to catch. It's not going to catch in them. And, I aspire to be that kind of space of safety for others as well, to the best of my ability, that, even if there are sparks, there's nothing for them to land on, no as little fuel as possible here to grow in my own heart. And that takes, looking internally, and when those little sparks come up, when I'm not comfortable in some way, whether it's because of the eyes or the ears or the nose or the tongue or the body or the mind, if one of those isn't comfortable, if there's some unpleasant feeling arising there, then, just seeing that, just letting that be exactly as it is and not giving it any fuel. How to do that? It's also not turning away from it, pretending it's not there, because then that's going to spark up. You're not giving it care. You're just sort of walking away and letting it flame up. Again, with the literal fires, sometimes people will, they do a intentional burn, trying to clear things out, but then they don't attend to the pile properly. It flares up again later. They went away for the weekend. This happened to one of our neighbors one time. We're lucky it hasn't happened to us yet. But if we make a little controlled burn, you have to watch that. You have to watch where that fire was. You have to monitor every night for several days afterwards until it's really, really out. So the answer is not to walk away from those things, but to be there with them, watching, not letting it get out of control, not letting it have any fuel, not letting it spread. But sort of kindly. A few past winter retreats, I've done this a lot. We've had the little controlled burns, and I go and I sit in front of the fire and just watch in the evening. Just look at the sparks, look at the little glow of the coals underneath. Just this sort of watching the fire, watching the glowing coals meditation. And it's like that. There are these coals in my own heart that I have to watch so that they don't flare up. But it can be calm, it can be peaceful. You can just sit and watch until they can burn themselves out, as long as they're not fed, as long as they're, gently watched in this way. So, yeah, so we do this for ourselves. I've been learning, at least to try to do this for myself, at least to set the intention that this is what I can do for myself when things flare up. And, little by little, I see that I'm growing in that strength. And I'm glad to see that in myself. Little by little, I see that the others around me are growing in that ability. And I'm glad to see that in them. Little by little, gives me hope that there is a way to live that is peaceful, that is without the fire, that is calm. And, I haven't fully experienced it for myself, but that phrase, it's a famous one. A lot of people really love this one. Venerable Katukuru Nyanananda uses it in every one of his 33 Nibbana sermons. That's where I first learned it, but I know a lot of people love it. But yeah, just this is peaceful, this is excellent. Coming to that, aspiring to that, feeling inspired by that and aiming for that. Even if it's not always successful at this time, making that the guide. So and that continues, it's perennial. This is always our practice, always practicing for peace, always in the world on fire. Not just this Vassa, all the time. But appreciating Ayasobana bringing this in particularly to our attention this Vassa for our consideration. And may we continue. May we have the benefit from this practice together. May it spread out and make a great lake of coolness and safety for everyone all around us in all directions. Etang santang, etang panitang, yadidang sapa sankara samato, sabo pati pati nisago, tanhakayo virago, niroto, nibbanang. Sadhu, sadhu. All right. So that's my Dhamma talk for you. Thank you for your patient listening. And yeah, it sounds like the robe is still going to be a little while, but I think we can go ahead with the various elements of our program, except for the spreading of the Kathina, which will have to be a little bit later, but we can do everything else in this program for now. So the next up, I think we will go ahead with the blessing. And I'd like to invite Levon, could you come around here? I want to talk to you for just a second about what we're going to do for the truck blessing. So I'll tell you while she's coming over, this truck, the fundraising for this truck was coordinated by our friend Ko Kai Shin, who visited us last December. And she's from Singapore, but she met Levon while there. So Levon is going to be the representative for our friend Kai and in the offering of this truck. So we'll just have a couple minutes of I want to check in with Levon, and then we're all going to go over there and we're going to celebrate this very auspicious offering together. Okay, so we're all going at this point. We can go over there to the truck and we'll have a little blessing for this truck and inauguration. Oh, and you can bring your chanting booklets because there's something we can all chant together for the blessing. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm going to. Hey, there's my yes, my it's here. Let it.
The meeting ID, or meeting ID, I can show it to you. I can show it.
Don't remember.
It is 7.
No, it's not the personal one. It's this one. Show invitation.
No,
Okay.
I just can copy it and then put it in something.
Meeting.
I can put something to.
Show you the meeting info.
Yes,
Anyway, you can put it in the notes there.
and then
Okay, so we just got the ID. Okay,
You just-
894.
894
Mm-hmm.
62 42 87 166 16 10.
All right. The passcode is the capital K, right? Capital K. Let's try that. So admit. Okay, just trying to record this for posterity. Okay, so I'm going. All right, so I'm going to invite on to read this on behalf of her friend Kai about the story of how this truck came to be.
Greetings from Thailand. On behalf of all who contributed to the fundraising for the truck, I extend my heartfelt regards to the Sangha community at Dhammadharini Monastery and Aranya Bodhi Hermitage. This initiative was primarily inspired by the Dhamma practice of Venerable Kaccayana and Samanera Thavira. Back in December 2023, among many other monastery duties, on a daily basis, I have seen them tireless running up and down the hills of the Hermitage, repairing the generator, fixing the internet, coordinating resources to get the old truck working again, coordinating guest visits and events, etc., etc. From before the first light of dawn until well after dusk, they were constantly at work. Despite the physical and mental demands, they remained serene, kind, patient, and unwavering. Their selfless service, building a virtual and physical space for others to learn and practice, resonate deeply, a silent teaching in itself. The spirit of giving ripples through the monastery as well. In those moments, I found myself wishing they had more time for formal practice, for it is in that space that the liberating insights arise, not only for their own freedom, but for the benefit of generations to come, ensuring that the Triple Gem is kept alive. This initiative, therefore, carries the sincere wish that this new truck may lift the burden of the Sangha, sparing them from constant repair of the old one long past its time. It will also aid in the safe transportation of petrol, propane tanks, logs, and other necessities. I'm heartening by the outpouring of support from family and friends. Regardless of their fate, their collective effort is a reflection of our faith in the Sangha and our deep appreciation that, in this modern world, there are still those who leave behind the comfort of their homes to embark on the noble search. A big thank you to Brother Tan Che Ming for his generous offer to match donation 1-for-1 up to Singapore $10,000. I think Singapore dollars. Special thanks to go to Sister Yat Thai for helping gather funds from the Dhamma Friends in Malaysia, to Sister Macy from Singapore, and to Fanny and everyone else involved in coordinating and purchasing of the truck. I'm also very thankful to have our dear friend Lavon to represent us in Kathina ceremony. May this offering become both a literal and symbolic vehicle, leading all of us toward long-term welfare and towards the ultimate liberations from every kind of sufferings. With gratitude, Kai Sin.
Satu, satu, satu. Anumodana. And then I want to recognize, even after all of Kaishin's efforts, we also had a lot of efforts here in the US to find the right truck and go through the whole process of purchasing it. And we had sort of tireless efforts from our good friend Farron. And so I want to recognize Farron also. She has a dedication for all her efforts in this regard. She would like to share merits with, she says, okay, sharing merits with my parents who passed away, as well as my sisters, Farah, Fariel, and Farima, who have continuously supported me in serving Dhamma. I share merits with Four Noble Truths Foundation in USA and Taiwan for donating the extended warranty for the new truck. May it serve and benefit the Sangha for many years to come. I share merits with all the Sangha members, my Dhamma family and friends, with all friends, acquaintances, all beings in every realm of existence. May all beings be well, happy, peaceful. May all, printer here has not been very clear. May all merits gained be a cause for development on the path of purification, to be free from all sufferings and have direct experience of the unconditioned Nibbana when the time is right. So, satu, satu, may it be so. And the one last element we want to mention is many, many blessings to Venerable Maharajina, who was the one who offered the original Dragonfly truck that is now being retired, but served very well for a long time. So many merits for all that service. And, I think we'll have to have a little blessing ceremony too for the other truck to send it on its way when it's time, which will be soon, but not today. Anyway, let's see. Ananea, do you want to say something briefly?
Well, first, just to echo, it's just such a marvelous thing to have the truck. Having driven this truck a few times here and there, I can account for that it is a bit of a challenge at times. So this is like just the very best thing. And I guess what I would ask everyone who does drive the truck from now and into the future does so very mindfully, so that we do not have backing into trees or backing into bins, not seeing who's coming around the corner, and a few other things. If the other truck kind of shows where the mindfulness was or was not. So I'm just putting it out there that everybody, we encourage everybody to be very mindful when they're driving the truck for their own safety and the safety of everyone else.
So thank you for the safety reminder, Ananea. And now I'd like to invite that Lavan has the keys, and she is going to ceremonially hand them over to two representatives of our Dhammadharini Support Foundation Board of Directors. This is the photo op. Satu, 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 anumodama. Okay, and oh, yes, Bob. Okay, and then we'll have some blessings after that.
Thank you. Okay. So my name is Bob Flax. I'm the vice president of the board. On behalf of the board, I want to specifically thank and express gratitude to everyone involved with the donation of the truck. To let you know a little bit behind. It's back on? Okay. I'll go quiet now. Okay. So just to get. Hello, hello. Okay. I'll go with New York. Okay. So to. Oh, okay. Terrific. So to give you a little behind the scenes look, I drove the old truck, I think twice, running errands. And I'll tell you, I felt like I took my life in my hands both times. Before you started the old truck, you had to open the hood, make some adjustment in there in the hood. I didn't understand that. I'm not a mechanic, but I did it. And then close the hood, get in and start it within a certain amount of time. It was scary. So anyhow, I can't begin to express and try to express the level we have for having a brand new, wonderful working truck. The old one served us well for a long time, but it was time for a new one. So what we're going to do now is Supatra is going to go in the truck and start it and symbolically drive us all to Nibbana. So that is the next step. Let that serve as inspiration. Okay, Supatra, ready for Nibbana? Okay, okay.
And would like to invite a representative of the monastics to get in the car.
Right. We can't go to Nibbana without you. It wouldn't be right. Okay.
Okay, she's getting her sitting cloth for the ride to Nibbana. And yes, and we're going to all chant together blessings for this vehicle. This blessing chanting, it's in your chanting booklet. It's the nymphs verse, Acharagata. And I'll just read the English. This was Ayasobana's inspiration to use this particular verse for this purpose. The path is called straight. Without fear is the destination. The carriage is called silent, accompanied by the wheel of Dhamma. Conscience is the brake, and mindfulness the upholstery. I call Dhamma driver, and right view runs ahead of it. And whether it be a woman or whether it be a man, whoever travels by this carriage shall draw close to Nibbana. So, perfect. Symbolic ride to Nibbana. Okay.
We'll hop in the back.
Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Ujuko nama somago abhaya nama sadisa rato akujano nama dhamma chake sanyuto kiritasa apalambo tadatyasa pariwaranang dhammahang sarating brumi samma Pore yasa eta nyanang orisasawa sa etena yane ni Okay, that's it. Let's do that again. Let's do a little more sprinkling of water here. Give anybody come. Okay, yes, let's do the other side. We're going to do this chanting again. Ojuko namasomago Bhayana sadisa Rato akujano nama Dhamma chake sanyuto Hiritasa apalambo Satyasa pariwaranang Dhammahang sarating brumi Sammadikti purejawang Yasa etadi sanya itiya purisasawa sawe etena yanena nibbana sewa santike sadhu sadhu sadhu. All right. So, did you make it? How was your trip? Enlightening, yes. Wonderful. Okay, well, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It's wonderful to have this new truck. Yeah, so I think at this point we might have one more important talk in Anumodana from our Bhikkhuni Sangha Kathina recipient. So we'll try to get her out here shortly. Normally this would happen after the spreading of the Kathina, but I think the robe is still ongoing, and I know some people will need to be departing. So I think we're going to go ahead with the Anumodana Dhamma talk now from Ayasobhana. There will be the opportunity for any additional Sanghadana for anyone who wasn't here in the morning that they can offer. We'll have our final blessing chanting, and then anyone who feels so inspired can stick around until the robe really is done and the Kathina is spread, but you're also welcome to go at that point after our blessing chanting, or even before, of course. Nobody is required to be here all day, but we want to give everyone a chance for their Sanghadana and their blessings. So, let's see. So we can regather here, and we'll invite Ayasobhana out in just a minute. All right, Ayasobhana is on her way, so we can assemble here to hear from her. So for those who are left, inviting people to reassemble, and then we will invite Ayasobhana to grace us with some words of Dhamma on the occasion of her receiving the Kathina robe, Kathina cloth today. Oh, okay, there will be an opportunity for the late offering after the talk, right after the talk, yes. I know there's a few people who came in this afternoon, and you will have your chance to offer. All right, so I will hand this microphone over to Ayasobhana. Hey, would you grace us with a talk on the Dhamma?
Dear friends, I know that all of you here and many others from around the world have participated in supporting us for this particular Kathina at the conclusion of this particular 3 month of the Vassa period. We know that all of the help and friendship that was given intentionally on purpose. And it was exactly because of that wholesome intention that your good offerings are effective and powerful, both for our happiness, for our peace of mind, and also for your own happiness and for what is shared among you. So, like many drops of water in a tidal wave, there is a certain way that the community, we lift each other up and we uphold each other. Just the way that the Sangha of the Bhikkhunis, who was lucky enough to be together during this Vassa, was able to uphold and support each other. So in the same way, the fellowship with those friends who come to see us, who come to listen and speak about the Dhamma, has been so precious for that same reason. Having undertaken a very carefully choreographed dance of events with the end of the 3-month Vassa retreat, and immediately traveling to the Empty Cloud Monastery in New Jersey to support the full ordination of our friend, now Venerable Satima, coming back here and quickly doing the extra work with the logistic and so forth of this Kathina celebration. It was all planned right down to the T. Everything was going to come along, but as always happens, the best laid plans don't always work out the way we wish them to. And I have been put into a quarantine situation, so I have to give over thinking that I can control anything at all, and instead trust that the goodwill and talent and energy of my friend and others will cause things to come together as they should come together. In the conversations that we've had through the Vassa and before that, and hopefully into the future, so many fresh insights become real for me. The Dhamma is certainly created through what I call a co-creation process of conversation, listening and discussing, hearing what others have to say, and then reflecting back what we've heard. The one idea that's the most on my mind at the moment is that the world on fire is actually these 5 aggregates. This body, which is made of all kind of things. We're the kind of a being which is made out of meat and blood and juice and skin. And then the feeling that arises from that, the ideas, the perceptions that arise from that, the intentions that arise from that, and the capacity to know and to understand the entire process. It is so precious, so significant to be alive and to be a human being with a body made out of meat and juice and all kind of things, an actual living form body connected with this mind, with its capacity for such high and fantastic aspirations to visualize the complete purification, the complete liberation. All of the imperfections that we experience are actually perfections. Where our suffering happens when we are overtaken by craving and lack wisdom is right here with this flesh body, these eyes, these ears, this nose, this mouth, where the contact with the world happens, where feelings arise, where emotions arise, where intentions arise, where concepts arise, where stories arise. All of this is, when accompanied by craving, this is exactly the doom loop for us. That's the world on fire, is that doom loop of continuously going around with being pierced with all of the foibles and vagaries of things that happen to us. This life, which is sometimes seems to be just one thing after another. So that's the world on fire. But the place where suffering ends is exactly the same place. It's not any kind of a different place. It's exactly in this body made out of meat and juice and skin and all the things that make up the body, with a feeling that comes from having a body with its a sense apparatus to encounter the world, and with all of the mental faculties for emotions and intentions and perceptions. It's exactly right in that exact moment. So exactly where our life is one darn thing after another, that's exactly the place to wake up. We don't have any place else. There's not any place else in the world where we're going to be able to wake up except here, right now. So therefore, I'm so pleased and delighted to be here in the perfect place, and to be sitting here at the perfect time. So this is the time to do the work. This is the time to be aware. Even those who go beyond getting frustrated and dissatisfied with external things, a person may continue to be frustrated and dissatisfied internally with their own self or their own progress. Somehow I remember the story, which could be an apocryphal story attributed to Ajahn Mun, of being emotional when describing his enlightenment in a public talk. And then later people criticized about that. And he said at the time, he knew exactly what was happening at the time, that like these 5 khandhas were causing the arising of the tears of the emotion. So the same process, he didn't lose anything when he became awake. He had everything before. It was just that he was able to see everything with such utter clarity. And so the same way, like when we encounter disappointments or accidents or illness or aging or the weakness of the body, the imperfections of the body, the weakness of the mind, the imperfections of the mind, the failures of what we hoped were our own high aspirations for ourselves. It's not it's said, well, I've heard this for more than 40 years, that it's just like that because of causes and conditions. And still being a human being who is at the place where they're at on their trajectory of their path within this training. And so then, but even so, I think when we have gained a lot of inside our freedom internally, it can still happen that like something like anxiety. Okay, there's something happened recently. I'll tell a story on myself. There was a conversation which I had remembered it happening in a certain way, and I was kind of like insisting on that this conversation had happened in a particular way. And then later on, when I looked back at my notes, I found out, oh no, to my embarrassment, I had been like totally incorrect. That the conversation had been opposite to what I had remembered. I had imagined something, and I had remembered an imagined reality instead of the actual reality, and my brain was so deluded in that moment. And so that caused in me uh, 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 a pang of like anxiety. Oh no, the brain is going, right? We have to be, some of us are old enough to have that be an actual consideration. But it's just these 5 khandhas. It's just because of conditioning. That little trickle, it's not even it's not a tsunami, it's just a ripple. Okay, so yes, because of conditioning, that would be the habitual reaction to that experience, would be to have anxiety and to say, oh no, what's going to happen? I'm going to lose my mind. Who's going to take care of me? And so all of the ordinary, common, completely human, natural things that could happen to a person, I think can still happen to us, even though we've come a long ways on this path. It's just that we are able to take them differently because we know for sure, actually, this is just the perfect right moment to wake up about it, because we got a chance to see it. We got a chance to see it like it really is. And that's where we have that opportunity to wake up, right here and not anywhere else. I feel so grateful to live in a community with several Bhikkhuni colleagues, and with a senior Bhikkhuni, Ayatollah, who is a tremendous leader in the world on behalf of Bhikkhuni, of the revival of this ordination of Bhikkhunis and the training. Practicing for peace is a wonderful Dhamma theme because it has that double meaning. First, with the practicing for the inner peace, and secondly, the aspect of practicing for social harmony, for peaceful relationships communally and in society. And it's a real test. One may be capable of seeming to have cultivated some level, some degree of inner peace. But then if we have to have a difficult conversation, that's like the test. Have we really got it or not? If we really got it, then it's possible to have that difficult conversation, and it's possible that even to excel in coming to some kind of a transformation in actual real situations with actual real people who are also made out of flesh and blood and who also have all the same combination of unique causes and conditions that puts each one of them in the place that they're at. And so I have, I don't know if it's true or if it's just my imagination, but I got the impression that my colleagues around here and the other people that we've been talking to in the class have really taken it to heart and have made the effort and have become more conscientious and more careful and have really thought about taking whatever they were trying to develop internally and trying in a very sincere way to manifest that into all of our interactions. So then that harmonious life is indeed something like heaven on earth. And that could be a nice platform to keep on doing the work that we wish to do for our growth and wisdom and our growth towards ultimate peace. This is all I have to share with you today, and I thank everyone for your patient listening.
Right. Well, thank you very much, IA. So the things that remain in our program are the final opportunity for Sangha, the final blessings. Will you stay with us for a bit, IA, or do you need to go rest? Okay, so we'll let you know when the robe is ready. Well, thank you very much, IA. Anumodana. Right. So then this would be an opportunity. If anyone has something they would like to offer, anyone who was not here earlier in the morning for the first Sanghadana offering, welcome now to come. I don't know, are Dilshan and Sihindu still here? I know they had something. Yes, please. Oh, okay. Would you like to give? We will receive this medicine. All right. So I've heard that the robe is coming close to being finished. Needs a few more minutes, but so not loud enough. Okay. Might be running out of battery. How is? Okay, I'll take off the mask. That will help, I think. All right, I've just had word that the robe is not so much longer. So, but I know some of you, again, you're welcome to go when you need to go. But we might be able to make it through and have our spreading of the Kathina in not too long. In the meantime, yes, I have actually two announcements. One related to Malai and one related to Dinesha. I think Dinesha is still over there somewhere. If we could bring Dinesha back in a minute. Okay, well, so two more things we want to celebrate. One is our good friend, Dr. Malai Uch, who has been a great supporter of the Bhikkhuni Sangha for a few years now. I think you've been coming here like 6 or 7 years regularly. I know you met Ayatollah a few years before that, but you've been a very regular supporter for the past 6 or 7 years. And I know even these lovely statues, these rupas behind us here are come to us through Malai. And so just appreciating her long friendship to our community. And we want to announce and congratulate Malai is, we think, going to be going forth. She's going to be shaving her head. She's going to be putting on robes in the not too distant future. And actually, we have a date of November 15th. This will happen at the local Cambodian temple, Wat Mangolawarn in Santa Rosa on November 15th. So we wanted to announce, congratulate. I don't know, do you want to say any words? You look uncertain. And
thank you for your supporting Dhammadharini. The community has been so precious for the fourfold Sangha. So that's why I feel like every moment I have a chance, I would come here and do whatever I can. So now is the next step that I need to be in that with them so that I can help myself and others more. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to see all of you in a different form. Thank you.
sadhu, sadhu. So Anumodana for your rejoicing. And then another piece of rejoicing, Dinesha. We have been celebrating today the generosity of Susie, offering the Kathina together with family and many friends for 2024. And we wanted to announce we have a donor for next year, which is Dinesha and Bodhi, and probably maybe some other friends too. I know you always organize a lot of friends, but headed up by Dinesha and Bodhi and Shamal. And we look forward to, having this special day with them next year, following next year's Vassa. So Anumodana for that kind pledge, great pledge of support from Dinesha and Bodhi. Anumodana. And, okay. So let's have a robe status update. I heard it just needs some stitching around the bottom. Okay. Yes, could you go check in? Jayanya's going to run over and find out for us about the robe. And so then it might be time for our great blessing chanting. Might be time for the spreading of the Kathina. Would be wonderful if that's ready to go ahead. the suspense. In the meantime, yes? Yes, please, Karina, welcome to say something. Yes, you can take the mic from over there. Yes, welcome. Any Dhamma discussion, any sharing? Welcome.
Hello. Oh, good. I was just going to say that along with others of you here, I was participating in the online programs on Sunday that they offered, especially the 1 p.m. Sutta study. It's finished? 5 minutes. Okay, I'll speak for 5 minutes maybe. And it was just such a support. And one thing I learned about cultivating peace in a world on fire was just this idea of developing a really deep taproot, just like a tree. Just like a tree that gets swayed in the wind, you know, if it's a new sapling, doesn't have many roots, the wind can knock it over. But a really old tree has just like a taproot, like really deep roots. And I feel like I cultivate that by developing my own practice. And just like trees, how they're really connected to other trees, especially in the same species, you know, in a forest. All you see is the trunk and the green, but there's a lot underground roots, and they can even communicate with other trees through back fungus and things like that. But I feel that way coming here and through the programs. And I'm sorry, Ayasobana can't hear this, but I feel like my taproot of my tree that holds me steady is being able to connect to the Sangha. Yeah. And Dhammawara, what you said earlier about the kindness, and you know, it goes both ways. Reflecting on just the generosity of the Dhammadharini coming back at me and offering the teaching so generously, really nourishes and anchors me, and like literally like holds me steady so I can handle the winds coming at me internally or externally. And then just the thought of Ayasobana being sick and still giving her breath to teach us. I mean, we've all, who hasn't had a cold at least, and you know how difficult it is to breathe. And she's wearing a mask and speaking and giving her precious breath to teach us. It's just such a generous spirit.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for those very kind words, Karina. Okay. Okay. Yes. All right. Any more words? Anyone else like to share anything at this time? How has your day been? Request to hear from Anagarika Mitakanti.
Hey, um, um, yeah, this is my first Kathina actually. I've never attended one before. Um, it's actually kind of amazing to attend my first one, sitting up here. You know, coming from a cold Scandinavian country, and instead I'm here. Yeah. Um, it's been super duper inspiring. I'm always blown away by people's generosity. And I even got to join with Jayanya and Kema to offer some cloth here to the Sangha. And yeah, I was actually mentioning earlier how when we offered the cloth, I felt a great sense of relief actually, that I got to offer cloth to the Sangha, which is kind of a privilege actually, or that's what it feels like. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything smart or wise to say, except that this has been a really great day so far. So thank you.
All right. Welcoming any other sharing? I see, can't quite see what's happening over there. I almost see what's happening over there. Okay, I hear the robe being, all right, robe is maybe being folded and prepared. Okay, so then if the robe is ready, then it's going to be folded up very neatly. It's going to be put on the golden tray, and we are going to have a parade. So people can get ready for the parade. Somebody needs to go get the golden umbrella, which is back there at the table. And we need to fold that up. And Susie's going to bring this robe out on the tray. We'll all follow her around the sala. We can circumambulate 3 times. We can be chanting. We can have an umbrella bearer holding the golden umbrella above the person with the robes. Several different people can have a chance to carry the robes, usually up on the head. And after that, they can come into the middle, and Susie can offer the robes here. And hopefully, Ayasobana will be here to spread the Kathina. This is the culmination of the day, where she will mark that robe as for a contemplative. She will determine it as her new robe, and she will put it on. And that is the spreading of the Kathina. After that, she will come back and she will request the Sangha to rejoice. It's the Sangha's Kathina, and the spreading of it, we hope, will be in accord with the Dhamma. And when that's so, then the Sangha rejoices. And this is the final requirement for Kathina. Somebody has to rejoice. Otherwise, yeah, must rejoice. And then that will be the close of our day, and we can have our final blessing chanting after that. Okay. Ah. Right. Okay. So question was, why did we choose Ayasobana to be the recipient today? And your guesses are, 1, she's popular, and 2, she needed a robe. Yeah, well, so there are some qualifications in the Vinaya for who can be the recipient. Usually it must be someone who's capable to sew the robe or guide the sewing of the robe. She has to be knowledgeable. She has to be a bhikkhuni in good standing. And often it is the one who is senior. It's not required that it be the senior most, but it's often one who's senior. And it is supposed to be one who needs a robe, one whose robe is old, so patched and full of holes and falling apart. That's actually an ideal candidate because it's meant to actually provide something necessary, something needed, not just a ritual. So being competent and capable, being senior, having an old robe, these are good qualifications. In this case, Ayasobana was actually the only one who was qualified, because there is another qualification, which is that they have observed the Vassa purely at the place of the Kathina. And so the other bhikkhunis, we are one Dhammadharini community, but for the Vassa, we did observe the Vassa Ayasobana here, and the others were at the Aranya Bodhi Hermitage. So we're all together today. We are a Sangha, and that means we can bestow the robe, but she's actually the only one we could bestow it on today. She meets all the qualifications, including that one. So we chose her today because this is the Dhammadharini Monastery, and she is the one who observed Vassa purely here. So various reasons are there. Yes, we think she is deserving. Usually they don't say popular, though. That's not one of the Vinaya qualifications. Um, okay, I think, all right, looks like the robe is on the tray and they're having the final photo shoot before they're sending them out on the parade. So anyone and everyone, we welcome you to join in this parade. Usually, I think it is the lay friends who join in the parade. The monastics will be here to receive. And could we get Ayasomana back? Hey, so, oh, and where are our flower petals? We should be throwing flower petals here. Are there some available? No? Hmm? Uh, oh, yes, yes, please. Everybody take a handful of flower petals. Scatter them before the robe here. And when you scatter, you can say Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. 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 Circumambulating the sala. Leading the parade. Our Kathina sponsor, Sri Sakun Clicks. Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Let's see. Actually, usually, Susie, you should circumambulate 3 times first. You can go around this way. Yes, you're leading the parade. And we're going to have a parade. This is our big parade moment. Well, we could chant. We can chant. All right. Yeah, we'll do a little iti piso. Okay. Yes. Iti piso bhagawa arahang samma sambuddho vijja charana sambanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro bodhisattva sarati satta deva manusanang Bodho Bhagawa Iti Piso Bhagawa Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Bodhisattva Sarati Satta Deva Manu Sanang Bodho Bhagavati Iti Piso Bhagawa Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Bodhisattva Sarati Satta Deva Manusanang Bodho Bhagavati Iti Piso Bhagawa Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Bodhisattva Sarati Satta Deva Manusanang Bodho Bhagavati Iti Piso Bhagawa Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vichacharana sampanno sugato kavidu anuttaro purisaramma sarati satta deva manusanang bodho bhagavati iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vichacharana sampanno sugato kaviru anuttaro bodhisattva sarati satta deva manusanang buddho bhagavati iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vichacharana sampanno Susie Lokavidu anuttaro bodhisattva sarati satta deva manusanang buddho bhagavati. Okay. Great. So yes, come forward. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right. Okay. So, do you need a hand with that robe?
I'm going to bindu this robe, meaning I'm going to mark the robe with a permanent marker. This could be made of plant juice or something like that, or could be made of laundry marker. Special mark. Now I'm going to relinquish this old robe, which is completely falling apart. So when I bended the robe, I said, Imam bindu kapang karomi, I make this properly marked. When I relinquish this other one, I said, Imam antara vasakang pachuddarami. So I relinquish that one. Now I determine this one. This will be my lower robe. Emang antara vasakang aditami. Emang antara vasakang aditami. Emang antara vasakang aditami.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Well, should we open it up first? Open it up, show the people, and then you can put it on. Okay, time for our final blessing chanting and dedication. If anyone would like to do the water pouring during the dedication, you can. We have a few water pouring vessels. Susie, would you like to? Yeah, we'll chant our. We're going to chant the victory blessings, and then the verses of sharing and aspiration. Right. Okay. So yes, you can have those ready. That will be for during the dedication. Okay. All right. So, final blessings. Blessings all our good merits today of offering, of receiving, of speaking about the Dhamma together, of sharing in generosity, sharing in goodness. And then may this all be for our victory and for the victory of others. We chant the victory blessing. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Mahakaruniko nato hitaya sabapaninang Puredwa parami sabha pato sambodhi mutamang edena sachawajena hotu te jaya mangalang jayanto bodhiyamule Sakyanang Nandi Vardhano Ewang Dwang Vijayo Hohi Jaya Sujaya Mangale Aparajita Palanke Sise Patavipokare Abhiseke Sababudhanang Agapato Pamodati Sunakatang sumangalang supapatang suhurtitang sukhano sumuhutto cha suyitang brahmacharisu padakinang kaya kamang wacha kamang padakinang mano kamang paniti te padakina nikatwana labantate padakine. And then in English, we'll do the verses of sharing and aspiration, dedicating all our merits for today. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until we realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken our resolve. The Buddha is our excellent refuge. Unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble Lord. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. Do sadhu. Do the akasata. Akasata Jabumata Devanaga Mahitika Punyang Tang Anumodantu Chirang Rakantu Buddha Sasanang Akasata Jabumata Devanaga Mahitika Punyang Tang Anumodantu Tantu cirang rakantu Buddha sasanang akasata cabumata devanaga mahitika punyang tang anumodan tu cirang rakantu Buddha sasanang. All together now, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, that's it, except for the commemorative photo. Oh, yes, to you too. Congratulations to all, especially to Susie and everyone who put this event today together. So many hands. And congratulations to our Kathina recipient. Much appreciation. Okay, so shall we have a photo? Maybe, let's see, I think in the past sometimes we stand at the end. It's more simple than, yeah, this is a little bit more, we would need to clean up a little bit. So I think we can go stand at the foot of the, at the sala there with the monastics in the middle. And yes, welcome to, yes. Okay, welcome, stand at the bottom and we'll have our photo opportunity.